Emery, well, heartbreak is a universal experience. Whether you've been single for a while, just got out of a 20-year marriage, or are in a relationship but questioning whether it's right, access to support could be hard to find. Well, Kendra Allen, our breakup bestie, joins us this morning to talk about her business as the broken heart healer. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
No, so good to have you. So I can't wait to get into this. So your Instagram, Your Breakup Bestie, shares tips on how to recover from heartbreak and instead view your breakup as a blessing, which is an interesting take. Today, your account has over 100,000 followers. What inspired you to create this page?
So as you can imagine, it did start with a personal breakup, but even more of a backstory, I got sober 9.5 years ago. And when I got sober, I had so many resources at my feet. I had therapy, treatment programs, books, podcasts, so much support from people. And then when I went through a breakup, I found that I had none of those kinds of resources. There was no how-to guides, very little way in the way of social media. So about 5 years ago, I decided to start what I wish I had at one point.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your sobriety. That's fantastic. And as a broken heart healer, you offer courses, challenges, journals, a podcast, and even a support group as part of your business. Tell us more about the actual breakup process and why these resources work.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people believe that a breakup can be cured by a couple of therapy sessions, when really getting over a breakup has to do with the small actions that you do every single day. It's about expressing your feelings, elevating your self-esteem, getting that kind of support. So my courses in the way are very practical. Every time you go through a video, there are actual actions that you can take that day. So really what I do is just provide a step-by-step guide on how people can get over heartbreak instead of just giving them these lofty quotes that might feel good in the moment. There's no action to take from it. So that's why I think my stuff resonates so much with people.
Yeah, great advice instead of people just kind of going and cutting off of their hair or doing those random things that people do after a breakup. And while everyone's breakups are different, are there common stages that most people go through?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to stages, people tend to bounce around a lot. But what I have found are 4 big stages that people tend to go through. The first one is shock. I think we don't give breakups the credit that they deserve. They're very traumatic experiences that we go through, especially if it was one that you didn't see coming. So shock is one that we tend to see where people don't even know how to go to work the next day. The next one we find is anger, and that tends to be anger at your ex, anger at yourself. You tend to go through a lot of self-judgment and blaming when you're going through a breakup. And then just anger at the situation. Why me? Why am I going through this? And then we tend to see people get into a loneliness where they've gotten more accepting of the fact that they're going through a breakup, but they just miss having their best friend. They miss that person that they call on their way home from work, the person that they spend every weekend with. So they start really acknowledging the voids that relationship left. And then we tend to get into the acceptance phase where we are still sad and we still maybe cry about the breakup, but we're able to see it for what it is and we're able to start moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm looking at all of those different stages and like, check, been there, check, been there, check, been there, and check, been there. All right, so what are the most common questions people have as it relates to their breakup?
So one question that I did not expect, probably one of my most common questions is, should I text my ex on their birthday? Oof. And I joke sometimes that I need to put it in my bio on my Instagram page because I'm asked it so often. But that's a very common one. Really practical things of, what do I do if I see my ex out and about in town? Should I be friends with my ex? Should I stay connected to them on social media? Really just these, how do I start moving forward? And it's not so much how do I deal with the big questions of loneliness, but it's these really small things. What do I do if I'm going through a sickness and I want to reach out to my ex? So really just those little questions tend to be the ones I get asked the most.
Yeah, and all of those questions sound like people who just want to keep that little connection to their ex. Should I text them on their birthday? Which I know a lot of people are like, so should you text your ex on their birthday?
I tend to say no. And the reason I tend to say that is I think when we text our ex on their birthday, we're expecting a very big response of, I miss you, I've been thinking about you. When in reality, all you'll likely get is thanks, or sometimes nothing. And then that leaves you more devastated. And you're also trying to learn how to live without this person, which means you're probably not going to be a part of their birthday celebrations, at least for the time being. Who knows, down the road, there may develop a friendship. But in the beginning, you really need to put a strong amount of boundaries around yourself while you heal.
Yeah, stop trying to keep that door open. I love that advice. Well, thank you so much, Kendra. Her latest release, the Breakup Workbook, is now available on Amazon for pre-order.